So happy to see her. I have a super fan here as well.
Super fan. I wasn't warned that my super fan was going to be
She
here.
was not warned that the super fan's going to be here. I'm going to shout out his name, Adam, by the way. Shout out to Adam. But anyway, I'm so happy to have you here today.
We made it.
And you look great.
Thanks.
You always look great. I have so many things to talk about because I always say I feel like I discovered you.
Sure.
And I think I did because
Go
I
ahead.
found you on Tidal and it's like Artists on the Rise. I was like, it was a song Body.
My first song ever.
That was your first song ever?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a very sensual song.
Yeah. Like, it's my vibe.
Why would that be your first song ever?
The thing is, I feel like, first of all, on the surface, that song is sensual, but there's a lot of like deeper meaning behind the song that's really a lot more about like, especially as a woman, just going through like personal mental health struggles with like body dysmorphia and things like that, and really like a disconnection from myself and like loving myself and stuff like that. So of course, a lot of the ways that I, have come to express myself and be confident with who I am are in ways because I'm very confident with my body or expressing myself sensually or like being like a woman who's not afraid to express myself in that way. So
Okay.
if you go back and you listen to the song, you kind of think of it now with that perspective rather than just like, oh, this woman's talking about touching herself. Like it's actually more about the confidence that I have with maybe like internally and externally,
Okay.
how I express, how I feel. And it's just been a long journey of, things that I've struggled with when I was younger. So that's really like, so I feel like that is, I always say at my shows that this song like represents me and my journey into loving who I am the most out of any song.
Did you feel a certain kind of way about your body that made you write that song?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, just full transparency, like I had an eating disorder. And so I feel like now I'm just at a place where, obviously that was many, many years ago. So this song really underneath the surface level of hearing that the song is sensual, that's really what the song is about.
Okay.
And, I hope, as time goes on, I really can, advocate more for that and kind of use this song as a way to
It's my first
talk
time
about
hearing
that.
you talk about having like an eating disorder. And I've
Yeah,
known you
I
for
feel
a
like
few
it's
years.
very,
Is
like-
this new for people to know?
As an artist, yeah. I mean, people who know me that are like friends with me obviously know that's what the song stems from.
Okay.
But I think, especially just in our world, it's a mental health issue that's not spoken about. Like everyone, and because people don't really understand it, and people think a lot of it has to do with just like wanting to look better, but really just kind of like any addiction. Like if you're an alcoholic, it's not because you love alcohol. It's because you have another issue and you're abusing alcohol. That's your symptom of whatever you're going through. So same with food. It's like, using food as to cope with or lack of cope with something else. So there's a lot of intricacies and complexities about it, especially in like entertainment industry. People don't really talk about it because everyone has disordered eating in Hollywood.
Right, yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, that's interesting. I did not know that. And I think you should be an advocate for people because it is something that's hidden. A lot of people don't talk about that. And honestly, you're the last person to talk about it in a long time.
Yeah, and there are some fans of mine who maybe have gone through that they understand that by listening to the song without actually knowing what it's about. And I think that's what's beautiful about music is that people can interpret it however they want. And some fans have reached out to me and have, like, I remember when I was on tour last year in Vancouver, this fan who was a fan of the girl that I was opening for, and obviously she discovered me that night, and I was talking to her after, and she was like, I really loved your song Body because like I struggled with an eating disorder, and I was like, oh, that's actually what the song's about. So some people who know, like, they get it.
I got you. Okay.
But yeah, I feel like I've seen other artists who have songs that are about this who have just been on stage and told their story about like their struggles that they went through. So I feel like on a big stage somewhere, I'll just tell the story.
You're going to
before
tell
I
the
sing
story
song.
at some point in time. Well, I'm happy you opened it up here.
Yeah.
It gives an outlet for other people to talk about it and connect with that. The last time I seen you was in LA and you were at the Sunrose.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting next to another gentleman and I overheard him hearing him say, "Where is this girl from? How come I never heard of her?" What is the reaction from fans when they hear you sing live or introduce you for the first time?
I think, well, what's great is that I've had experience, opening for artists on tour, and I feel like last year when I went on a tour, that's like the best testament because you are singing to a crowd who's never heard of you.
Right.
And I'm not humble, so I'm
Let's
just
go. I know
saying,
you're not
like,
humble. Let's talk about it.
I feel like, I mean, not I feel like, last year when I opened up for this artist, like, every night the crowd was just, like, shook at me because I don't perform like an opener. Like, I really have so much stage presence. I'm so talkative to the audience. Like, I don't care if I don't know anyone in the audience. Like,
Okay,
you're going to know who I am.
Sure.
And I think also just, so it was a really nice, like, shock value to them, especially because, like, when you go to shows, especially, like, the tour was, like, every venue was maybe, like, 300 to 1,000 capacity. So it's like when you go to smaller shows, you're not really, like, expecting too much from the opener, I think.
Okay.
So.
And you purposely go into like dominate every time.
Yeah, I mean, I really, it's so funny. It's like I actually don't overthink about it because I just know that when I get on stage, like that's where I come alive. Like people are really shocked, especially when I do intimate shows of my stage presence because
Yeah.
I'm so. And the thing is, I'm so myself, but I do think about like how I want to, introduce songs, and because I'm at the stage where it's like the shows are intimate, so I am able to like do more storytelling than as the venues get bigger, you can't do that as much. So I think people mostly are really like so taken aback by like how comfortable they're like, oh my god, I feel like you're just like chatting with your friends in your living room when you're on stage, So I mean, I love it. I'm a Leo. I love attention. So there you go.
One thing that you said something that made me think about, you have roses around your microphone,
Yes.
which I had never seen that before. Is that something you just kind of creatively done? Or is just that like,
Yeah,
I just need to do something different when I'm in
yeah,
front of
I
everyone?
feel like, so it's interesting. Like since the jump, I think I'm so much of I just think so much about like marketing and branding and I have like custom napkins at my shows.
Yes.
So it's something that I've been thinking about recently. I'm like, how am I still gonna? Because that's very much catered towards like an intimate show. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I've thought about like as my shows get bigger and there's not going to be tables for people to sit at. How can I like when my shows get bigger? Am I gonna want to like decorate the mic with roses like every night?
You should though. It's just it'd be.
And I thought about like when I'm at bigger venues. And obviously, I'm not gonna have like tables where I put like Sophia napkins, but I'm gonna give them to like the bathroom attendants. So when people go to the bathroom, they give out Sophia napkins.
Everywhere. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, I just feel like, it's just a little thing for people to remember, and
cool.
if they want to take the napkin home, they'll have it.
I have one
forever.
I have one
yeah,
at the house
exactly.
right now. I do.
So, but interesting because the roses, some of my new music actually is moving into a different space of feeling more like fun and vibrant rather than like adult and serious. So I'm like, should I change the flower? Like I'm like trying to think.
It's working. Keep it
No, but
going.
I feel like I should put like a feather boa on the mic stand now.
Maybe a little
That might be
remix
a
there.
thing. Yeah,
I do
but
want to talk.
something.
I do want to talk about you. You used to be an A&R, right?
No, I used to be. My first job in the industry, I worked at a touring agency.
But you used to help other artists.
Yeah, and then I was a manager. I did a lot. Yeah.
So what was the transition of seeing you help other artists, and you're like, you know what, I should be doing this, and honestly, I think I'm better at them anyway. What was the motivation for you to do that?
That's funny. I like tell this story all the time. There was a few things. I always wanted to be an artist since I was young, and then when I moved to Chicago for college and like went to a big city, the fear of just competition and trying and being judged like really came over me. So. However, so from like beginning of college up until, when I transitioned to being an artist, which was like a few years after college, it wasn't like I didn't want to be an artist. I always wanted to, but I had developed this voice that told me not to do it. So it was kind of like I was battling between the two voices. So, and I always tell people, I'm like, I feel like I appreciate my journey so much more because I denied myself of it for so long.
Right.
Like, it's like I really tried not to be an artist. And
I tried not to be an artist.
Yes. So I feel like that's how I know it's really my purpose. It's like this voice kept trying to come out to be like, I used to visualize myself like writing songs and singing and performing, yet simultaneously telling myself, no, you can't do that. Like your clients are going to judge you. You're not going to do it. So it's like I really tried to suppress it. And then it's almost like I couldn't suppress it anymore. So that's how you really know that this is what I meant to do.
This is what you meant to do. Okay.
Because I'm like, I tried not to do it. Okay. And it didn't work out. So, it's almost like I thought that working in the music industry with other artists would fulfill me just as much, but I wouldn't have to try as hard or put myself out there as much because I wasn't trying to be an artist.
Right.
And it was almost made it more difficult because I was so close to it. So when I was a manager, also I didn't manage other singers, so I feel like that would have been actually really difficult.
Okay.
My main client was a really successful DJ, and then I used to manage also the band that now plays with me. So that was interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'll get to them because they're a super integral part of my artistry.
Yeah.
But I remember being at events like with my DJ client and like talking to other managers who represented artists, and they would like talk about their artist who's like in the studio working on music. And I don't know if you guys know, there's this meme on the internet that's been around forever that's like, it's just black and white and it's like stick figures at a party.
Okay.
And basically the meme, there's like the people dancing in the center of the party, and then there's like this stick figure guy in the corner being like, they don't even know that I made this song or something. But
Okay.
it can translate to anything. Like, they don't even know that that girl's my cousin's ex-girlfriend. Like something like where like they don't even. So I always felt like I'm like talking to this other manager. I'm like, these people don't even know that I'm an amazing singer.
Yeah.
So there was a few like moments that made me. Few things. Like when I first became a manager, I really missed singing. So I started writing songs in my bedroom alone, with no intention of ever sharing them with anyone. So I feel like the purity of just wanting to do it for myself is like why the songs translated to people, because they were, and then I just started trying. It's like I told myself that I couldn't be an artist and that I shouldn't do it without ever even trying. And then once I wrote a song, I loved the song, then I showed the song to someone. They had an emotional reaction to it. Then I performed the song. Everyone loved the show. Then I was like, I'm gonna record the song, and then I recorded the song. Like, it's like I just started doing things and it started working out for me. And then but one thing that took me a long time that I was super cautious of was making sure that my transition out of management into artistry was professional and didn't make it look like I was overstepping or using my clients to get there. I really did it on my own, because like the breaking of the ice to all my music industry colleagues was something that felt really daunting to me. So I did it in a way that just, I wanted to make it seem like, no, I was never a manager so that I could become an artist. I was a manager so that I wouldn't have to be an artist, and then I just became an artist on my own, and in a humble way.
Nobody even thinks about that either anymore.
No, and also like people that knew me most people now, they meet me as an artist, but people who knew me in the industry, they're all my friends. And
I had someone asking me, when are we going to publicly talk about Frank?
Oh,
and
I feel like we've talked about it on the show.
I feel like we've mentioned Frank, but we haven't talked about Frank.
It's so funny because Frank's interlude has actually like retired from my set list.
Oh, and why?
Because I have a whole new album that I'm working on, and there's so much new music.
You don't think Frank's important?
It's
to the beginning of.
For sure, but it's like now as I grow, like it's so funny. I think I thought about this recently. I'm like, damn, like, Frank's interlude is about to be such a niche part of my artistry for only people that were at the very beginning to know, like it's really not. It doesn't. I don't have room for it in my set list.
You don't have room for it now. When's the last time you seen Frank?
I haven't seen him in a while, and it had been put to rest for like but then recently he DM'd me. He'll sometimes, like, truthfully, like, I think he like finally got the hint, and I haven't seen him in like years. He came to one of my shows like a long time ago in Chicago, but
so he's a fan. That's great.
Yeah. No, he like has my vinyl. Like he has. When it like says his name on the song. But what's funny is, he like responded to something on my story recently or something, and I'm like, it's been like a year and some change. I really thought he was, but like I love that he's my fan.
That's good.
Be my fan.
You want to show me a picture of Frank later, so I can see what it looks like?
Sure.
Yeah, because I want to see what
a lot of my like.
What is Sophia Galate's taste? What is she?
Oh
like?
Well, I was just on the phone with my friend.
Go ahead. You currently what? Go ahead.
I currently have no type. I've cleared my mind from everything.
You have no type?
Yes. Nothing. Don't even try.
You have to have some type of type. I think some type.
I have in the past, but I feel like I don't have one right now because I don't really care. I'm not interested in anyone.
So I was going to talk about that later, but what is the dating life for Sophia Galate right now?
I just told you, I'm like, it's all cleared. I just cleared my roster. It's dry, and I'm like, I have no space for that in my mind.
None?
No, I'm working on an album. I'm about to finish. Like, I'm literally every single second of my mind is dedicated towards my project. And it's funny. I feel like I've been, quote unquote, single for a long. I feel like I'm very kind of private about people that I date.
Sure.
And even when people think I'm single, I'm always involved with someone, whether it's low key, whether it's
in the last
casual.
2 years, you've been involved with somebody?
Yes.
See, that was great because I had no idea.
Why would you know?
Exactly. You do a good job of hiding.
Yeah, I feel like also like, well, I don't know. Are you trying to be up in my business? I'm like, I don't talk to you often.
This is true. I'm in your business right now, but yeah.
I mean, I feel like even if I had like a serious partner, I'm like, nothing about my social media is dedicated to my personal life.
That's true.
So yeah, like I've dated a few people in the past few years, but I think I'm
anyone in the
exhausted.
music world that you dated?
Yeah, for sure. Somebody that I dated.
High profile?
No. But I need that. If it was high profile, you would know about it because that would make me.
No, what do you mean
poppin'.
you need that? What are you talking about?
People like sometimes you date people for visibility.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, you're not ashamed. That makes sense. Yeah.
No, I'm like
that makes sense.
whatever. No, but yes, even like I dated someone who some of my recent singles were about.
Wow.
Who was an artist, and then sometimes musicians here and there, but currently nothing.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that, Joseph. I got a question for you.
Yes.
Music today as an independent artist, how difficult is it right now? If somebody says, Sophia, I want to be an independent artist. I love what you do. I love the roses. I think I can pull that off. What's your advice to them?
You have to just really love it for the purity of loving it. Like, it's really challenging, and I am so grateful that I genuinely just like love the feeling of singing.
Okay.
Like, if no one was watching me or whatever, and I just love musicians. Like, I feel like it's so funny. I always say, I'm like, I network so much better with musicians than I do with like other vocalists and like others. Like, I know so many musicians. I'm like, I don't even like have that many close friends that are like singers that I could just call up to sing.
So you don't?
Yeah, no. Or even like artists. So I feel like I have such a love and appreciation for, like, a musician gave me a compliment yesterday about something I was singing on Instagram, and I was like, I'm so honored that a musician. I'm like, that's because musicians, they know
exactly
like the nerdy, like real things about like placement and theory and all that stuff. So it's like when a musician's compliments, like they responded to something on my story about like this incredible piano player, about how like my note like slid right up into the pitch, and I'm like, I was like, that is I'm way more honored that you said that to me than like a music executive saying that I sound good, truthfully, like because there's like, I wish that I was like a musician that had that type of knowledge and skill. So anyways, I say all that to say that for me, like, there's so many challenges, there's so many struggles of like, I go above and beyond to like try to be noticed and all these things, and being an independent artist is such a financially risky thing.
Financially risky.
Yeah.
How much have you spent, you think, in your own dime?
Everything that I've done has been my own dime.
Okay.
So.
And I ask because there are a lot of people that want to know how difficult it is. That's why.
I mean, it's a lot. So it's like, and that's something that gives me a lot of anxiety all the time. I think every independent artist like has a constant just anxiety about the financials of things.
Yeah.
And so really trying not to allow yourself to get into like a rabbit hole of freaking out about that. But that's something that's super, super scary. But I'm always like, when I take out the financial of it, everything that I'm doing is everything that I always want to do.
Okay.
Like making music. Like, I feel like as an artist, it's such a non-traditional, career in life that it allows the rest of my life to feel non-traditional. And like when I have so many friends that are like married and kids and like settling down, I'm like getting lit and going to concerts on Tuesday nights.
Right.
It's like,
absolutely.
And I feel grateful that I get to have this like freedom of being an artist, and so much of my spontaneous life and stories like fuel my art. So I feel like if I was doing exactly what I was doing, but had more money and was on a larger scale, like it's the same thing that I'd be doing. You know, I'm still like making music and working with amazing musicians and traveling and singing. So it's like I'm already doing exactly what I want to do. It'll just be on a bigger scale as time goes on.
Do you pay attention to like the streams because they pay so little? How important is that for you when you put something out that you want to make sure you get on like some type of, editorial playlist, or that your fan base is typing in as far as like the streaming money?
I don't really like count on streaming money.
Okay.
No, I think I'm moving into like my first full-length album, so I feel like I'll care about streams more when it comes to this, because I'm now at a different level,
Sure.
or a different phase of my. Whereas like I feel like the past 3 years were like me introducing myself to people, and I always have been very aware of my visibility and my resources. So it's like I'm not going to expect like a bajillion streams off the first thing. So I always.
But that could change if you get into like a movie, a video game, or something
so
like that.
That type of stuff, like sync, or depending on the type of show. Obviously, like shows at my level don't make me that much money either, but like sometimes they can. So yeah, just like kind of searching for different avenues and stuff like that. But yeah, stream. But the thing is, if you start making like hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners, like you can make decent-ish money.
Yeah.
Depending on how you're, obviously I have a lot of collaborators who also get a percentage of the music and stuff like that. But
your genre, would it be classified as more jazz or R&B, or kind of a mixture of both, neo soul? What would you think it's classified?
I think it's funny. I'm in a transition of trying to definitely move out of being classified as jazz.
I would say good for you. I love jazz. I just think there's
also like pure jazz. People who don't really know real jazz think that I'm a jazz singer, but people that know real jazz know that I'm not a jazz singer.
Okay, I get it.
So of course, like people who don't listen to jazz, like they hear me and they think it's jazz, because of course there's like this elegance to it. And when I do things live, sometimes the arrangements are more jazz style. But it's definitely influential in some of the sounds. I would say my previous project kind of lives in like neo soul, but it's also not. It wasn't like too R&B, straight R&B, because there's like specific R&B production that I don't think that I had in my last project. And then I feel like some of my ballads are actually kind of more like singer-songwriter pop ballads. Like I feel like I grew up loving Adele, and I feel like Should I Tell You and Hey Baby live in that like Adele world. But Adele like is rooted in soul, even though she's a pop singer.
Yeah.
And then I feel like with my forthcoming project, I would say it lives more in like pop R&B. I feel like there's just more, so now like my new project will kind of be pitched into like both genres.
Are you sort of rebranding yourself a little bit?
Slightly. I would say that like my brand is kind of strong, so I'm not trying to like change it fully, but just moving into like brighter colors.
Brighter colors.
So pink is my brand, so I'm not moving out of pink.
Are you a dancer? Do you dance?
No. I mean, I have rhythm, but I'm not like doing dance moves.
I was gonna say, because like I can see Sophia in the video dancing,
For sure, like,
dancing a little bit. I know you can.
I mean, yeah. Like there's a couple songs where I kind of
spruce it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of that, but like, whereas I feel like my previous stuff kind of lives in this like moody, like serious, smoky vibe.
Okay.
Do you know my song Options?
Favorite song.
Okay, so Options
Favorite
is a great
song. Body and Options.
Okay, so
favorite.
Options, the aesthetic for that is like it's bright red.
Yes.
And like curly hair, and like I'm wearing that like feathery dress.
Yeah, and the video split like 6 different. Yeah, I love it.
So Options will still be on this album. So Options is a great template for like what I want, what things are gonna look like more. So, like like that project, my hair is straight, but my hair is naturally curly. So I want to have my hair curly, be more fun. So it's kind of just like, rather than where in the past it was kind of like I wore a lot of black.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
you
black.
need colors. I got you.
Yeah,
I
so
got
it's
you.
kind of
Makes
more
sense.
like hot pink, red, orange, brown. So it's still like sultry and sexy, but rather than sultry, sexy, and serious, it's like sultry, sexy, and fun.
Okay.
So
I got a question for you. So let's say right now in the news, singer R. Kelly, he's singing from prison and it's going viral. And
that happened.
That happened.
Yeah.
That actually happened. Would you or do you support artists that have been in like tough situations, either legally or domestic violence, whatever, and
I don't-
still support their music?
No, I do not support R. Kelly.
Okay, you know. So if an R. Kelly song comes on, you're turning it off.
So what's interesting, even though I'm like half Chicagoan,
That's why I asked too.
I'm a little bit younger than people who were like the diehard R. Kelly fans. So I'm not like, I wasn't that upset, you know.
You weren't that upset, okay.
I wasn't upset to say bye to him.
You weren't upset
Yeah.
to say bye to him? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what if it was
Don't
Usher?
age me.
What if it was Usher in that same situation? Would you say goodbye to Usher's music?
If Usher did what R. Kelly did,
Yeah.
yeah, probably.
You said probably.
If it was like D'Angelo, no, I would still listen to D'Angelo's music.
Now, why would you still listen to D'Angelo
Because it's like-
in the same circumstances?
It's kind of like I listen to Michael Jackson, you know, because there's certain people that I feel musically, and I'm not even just saying like as a singer.
Okay.
Like D'Angelo's a musician, and going back to my
I
point
have a
about how I
question
love
about D'Angelo
musicians.
too. I'll ask that later, but yeah.
I'd love to talk about him. So I feel like, yeah.
You basically,
I mean, I love Usher, but it's like I'm not like bumping Usher's music every day of my life.
got you.
Currently.
Well, for me, I try to separate, the gift of their ability to sing from their demons. So if I hear a
sure.
song that comes on, I'm still able to vibe with the song and appreciate the song instead of going in a dark path or whatever they
Yeah, like I'm not the craziest like cancel culture person.
Yeah.
A lot of it, but like I feel like something like R. Kelly thing was really extreme, and conveniently I don't happen to be a super fan, so it was
Okay.
like,
So it's
you know.
easy for you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking you a list of artists, and you tell me who would you choose, right?
Okay.
Okay. The first artist I have is D'Angelo or Lauryn Hill.
D'Angelo.
Was that an easy decision?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Sade or Etta James?
Etta.
Etta James.
Because Etta is like super influential to me as a child.
Okay.
In like what, like Stormy, like her version of Stormy Weather has been like my favorite song to sing since I was so young. Sade, I obviously get compared to a lot currently, and my parents played Sade growing up, but Etta is like more of the origins of
Okay,
things.
so it's Etta. It's Etta.
Yeah.
That was a little difficult, but you say Etta. Okay. What about JoJo or Yebba?
JoJo's my girl. I opened for her. That was my first show ever.
I know, but you're a Yebba fan too, so.
Yeah, but I prefer JoJo's music.
She's very underrated.
I know, everyone says that. Also, I don't know that much about Yebba. Like,
Okay.
I just recently read JoJo's memoir, and there's certain artists that I feel like her, and I would say similarly Jessie J, are deemed underrated because they're just real people, and they don't follow the path of being these industry darlings, and like, Jessie J probably could be as famous as someone like Dua Lipa, but I don't know anything about Dua Lipa's like personal life and struggles with the industry because she's not outspoken about stuff like that. So I feel like these women that are more outspoken about things that they've gone through in the industry are just super authentic, and I relate to them more.
That's a good point. Really
Like
good point.
JoJo obviously has a crazy story because she was signed when she was like 13
Right.
to an R&B label and went through a lot of stuff. And JoJo has, it's funny, like I knew her hits when I was younger, but I've more become a fan kind of as I've been older. She has this album that, are you asking me both of them because of PJ Morton?
I like PJ, but go ahead.
Because we should talk about that.
Well, go ahead. Go talk about
JoJo
PJ.
has this album that came out a couple years ago called Trying Not to Think About It.
Yeah.
And it's more, just talks a lot about mental health. And I feel like I learned so much about her like from that album, and I just love that.
Did you tell her that when you got to meet with her? Because obviously.
No, I really like talked to her for like 2 seconds.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But Yebba, I love Yebba and JoJo because of their collaborations with PJ Morton, who's my favorite artist and my dream collab at this current moment. And I'm always like, I'm the next white girl in line, PJ. I'm the next gal. Like he put Yebba on the map. He brought JoJo back into the map after she was a little on hiatus. And I'm like, I'm next. I mean, we know each other.
That
We
song
have
was
each other's numbers.
amazing with JoJo and PJ.
I remember when that song came out, I'm like, is this
Jeez.
the same JoJo? I'm like,
That
what?
was amazing.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
so, but the PJ thing will happen for me. Like, we know each other, we're
course it's gonna happen.
boys. I have
Yeah.
a song I'm about to send him on my new album because it totally just is his vibe. So
I didn't even know he was with Maroon 5 at one point in time until they came out on like a CBS did an interview. I was like, that's you in the back?
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
But it's awesome because the
Father's a
timing of
famous
his
preacher, too.
life. Yeah, like obviously he's been gifted and his dad's famous and
Yeah.
whatever, but despite that, he's struggled a lot with his own personal artist brand for a while. And it's kind of like when he talks about like, I mean, I've watched some of his interviews and I also read his book, just like kind of the financial relief that Maroon 5 gave him to authentically pursue the music that he wanted to make,
Wow.
then made him more poppin' as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's cool that Maroon 5 can fund your.
It is
Anyways,
very-
I love PJ Morton so much. Every single day, I've manifested my relation. I mean, we're like acquaintances, but like I've been manifesting
It's
that for a
gonna
long
happen.
time. It's already happening. I mean, I know
it's gonna happen.
and it's so funny. It's like people are like, who's your dream collab? I'm like PJ Morton. It's like it's so within reach that I'm like, you probably think I'm gonna say like John Mayer or someone real famous, but I'm
Yeah.
like, no, like my dream collaborations are just people that I like
That you admire.
that
Yeah.
are like meaningful to my own journey and
It makes sense too, based off of your music as well.
yeah,
Chris Brown or Usher?
Chris Brown.
Easy?
Yeah.
Even with the whole situation from 20 years ago or whatever it is?
Well, it's hard because like I love dancers, so and Usher's an incredible dancer
I'm about to say,
too.
yeah.
I just in life had listened to more of Chris Brown's music, but then you go to like Usher's residency in Vegas, and there's nothing better than that. There's nothing, and then you go to other Vegas residencies,
Yeah.
and they're awful compared to Usher.
Bruno Mars was crazy though. Silk Sonic
I went to
was-
Bruno's. I didn't go to Silk Sonic. But I
Silk
went to
Sonic
Bruno's.
was better than Bruno's. I would. It's crazy.
That makes sense. 'cause
There we go.
Anderson.
Joe or Tank?
Tank is like Tank is like
Tank
my
over
crush.
Joe?
Well, are you talking about music wise?
Yes, I'm talking music.
Okay,
I'm
then
not
probably
talking like.
Joe, but like I'm like in love with Tank. He's
Okay,
like
yeah, I'm not talking
he-
about who you're in love with. I'm talking
he's
about
my celebrity crush.
music wise.
I don't like truthfully like don't know much of each of their catalogs.
So you're just attracted to Tank. It has nothing to do with
He's
his
so
catalog.
fine. I feel like I've become more attracted to him recently.
So we found out
because
your type. Now we know your type. You just explained your
Everyone
type.
thinks that's not my type. Like everyone thinks that Tank is attractive. He's very attractive.
Shout out
Anyone?
to Tank.
Well, also I listened to the R&B Money podcast, and I feel like I've learned so much about his personality.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
So funny, like so. I'm just like I crack up while I listen to that, so I feel like that's also why I like love
Okay.
him more.
Shout out to Tank.
Shout out to Tank.
Luther Vandross or Teddy Pendergrass?
Luther.
Not even a
Easy.
question?
Yeah.
I said Teddy Pendergrass.
I know, but like Luther's tone is just like undeniable.
Do you sing Luther Vandross songs like on your own?
Yeah, like sometimes I'll get into just like nights where I'm like only listening to Luther, and I'm just like, especially the live versions because they take longer. It's crazy.
Love this documentary. I learned so much about him as just like a crooner.
And about
just
his eating disorders.
Yeah. I always call about Big Luther, and now it makes sense how it was offensive, you know.
Yeah,
very
I
offensive
didn't
to
even
me.
know that much how so much about his weight was like such a spectacle of things.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
Robin Thicke or John B?
I always feel like I'm the female version of both of them, actually.
Okay. You gotta choose Robin Thicke or John B.
Okay,
and
but,
I
like,
love both of
people-
them equally.
No, I used to always say that like I was a female version of John B because he's like this like white Jewish. My mom's Jewish, white Jewish man who sings R&B. And I'm like I'm John B. And then my friend, one of my
Sophia
best,
B.
my friend, one of my best friends. She's always like she's black, and she's like when she listens to my music, she's like they're gonna eat you up like you're your whole version of Robin Thicke.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
But
you didn't choose yet. You gotta choose. You didn't
I love
choose.
Robin Thicke.
You said Robin Thicke.
He's
Okay.
also a little sketchy though.
Yeah, maybe.
All these
Maybe.
sketchy men make great songs.
But he's moved on in his life, and looks like he's happy, and I don't know.
Yeah, he's wild.
Well, okay.
You should listen to his interview on Army Money because it's insane.
Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey?
Whitney.
Whitney, easy.
Yeah.
Mariah has more hits.
It's
Still Whitney.
not even about the hits really. It's kind of more. I think too like. Yeah, I think I just like Whitney. I don't know.
Okay.
There's not that much to say about it.
Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick. I want to say that I've never been a Drake fan. Okay, so I was ahead of the curve.
Okay.
I mean, I was when he first came out.
So this
like,
was easy
every
for you.
girl in the world. Also, like, I'm from LA.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, truthfully, like, my friends used to always make fun of me that I would literally only knew like 3 Drake songs.
So you just weren't a fan at all?
I was when he first came out, like with Young Money, like Every Girl in the World, Best
Gotcha.
I Ever Had, because I was young and that was the times.
Okay.
And then I didn't. You're gonna love this.
Go ahead.
I didn't really come around to Drake until Controlla.
Okay. Yes.
So what
Control.
album is that? We're like 4 albums.
Is that
into
Scorpion?
Drake.
I don't even know.
No.
I know Joseph doesn't know because he's the biggest.
It was the one with the
I can't stand
Toronto
Drake guy in the universe.
It was
He's shaking his head.
It was Views from the Six or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, here we go.
2016.
Yeah.
Because Frank put me onto that song. You
Shout
know, like
out.
sometimes when people that
Frank
you like,
comes back.
when you like people and they share music with you, you ultimately like force yourself to like the song because
I got
your
you.
crush sent it to you. So yeah, I used to do like a acoustic piano cover of Controlla for a long
Really?
time. Yeah.
You didn't bring that back out. I want to see
Not
that.
now. No one cares.
What do you mean no one cares? We're
He
not
is
big
the zeitgeist. Maybe I'll get some views if I do my Controlla
Maybe you
cover.
will. Okay, so
I'm not like I don't listen to that much rap anyway, so I'm not like saying I'm a diehard Kendrick stan,
Gotcha.
but I think he's brilliant and I
Of course,
love
he's absolutely
him,
amazing
and
artist.
I also love Dr. Dre and like I love all that stuff, so I feel like, you know, as
yeah,
a
he
West
has an
Coast
edge.
gal.
And no matter who you choose, like you have a winning ticket because they've both been successful for so long.
Also,
so no matter who you go
the
for.
Drake fans are even way bigger stands now after the Kendrick thing. I'm like, it's like nothing happened.
Yeah, he definitely lost for sure.
He definitely lost, but I think now what everything he's doing and the fans are like, it's cringe and embarrassing.
Well, speaking of like loss, Snoop Dogg went to perform at
the
Trump thing,
That's so
and he got a lot of flack for that. My question to you would be, if the call was made for Sophia Galate to perform,
never.
you're not.
I would
and
never
why
do
are you
that.
not performing? Let me ask you this question as well. Are you looking at it from the standpoint of I'm not a fan of Trump, or are you looking at it from like this is for America?
Both. Like I hate him. I hate everything that he hates everything that I love. and
Okay.
Everything. So it's like, yeah, not even a question. That's why it actually is crazy that Snoop did it. It's crazy. But he's best friends with Martha Stewart, and she's definitely a Trump supporter. So.
Yeah, what I think it's crazy that Snoop said that he made fun or tried to get at anybody who would in 2012 or whatever.
But it's so different. It's
Then he
like
did.
I've also learned there's so many more Trump supporters now. It's like I'm like, oh my God, they're a Trump supporter. I'm like, oh my God, everyone is. Because unfortunately, so many people have been convinced now that the government should be run like a business,
Yeah.
and they only vote with their wallet. And like, so it's almost like I'm not really surprised. Like, Snoop is rich as hell, and he just probably that's sometimes what these people care about, especially coming from nothing and now having it. It might be all he cares about now.
You think he could bounce back?
I feel like no one's even talking about it anymore.
That's true.
I don't keep up with Snoop. I mean, I keep up with politics for sure, but yeah. But I'm just like, there's so many people, even like, well, Nelly, I wasn't that surprised because he like makes country music.
So for Carrie Underwood, you wouldn't have taken her place to perform in front of with Carrie
No,
Underwood.
also like, I don't think they would ask me.
But if they did though, you still say no.
No, I would not.
Okay, that's fair enough. What is Sophia watching on TV right now?
I don't watch TV.
At all? Netflix? Basketball?
No, this has like been a thing in life so long. All my friends like make fun of me because they don't watch anything. I mean, I'm kind of watching White Lotus.
Okay.
Very slowly. But yeah,
Very
no,
slowly.
I don't
Okay.
really watch TV.
What is like your favorite food? What are you eating? Like what
Oh, I'm
brings you
so
in?
basic. I love salad.
I thought you were gonna say a sandwich.
But my favorite cuisine is Vietnamese.
Vietnamese. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. What is the worst date you've ever been on?
It was not that long ago.
Last year? This year?
It was like a little over a year ago.
Okay.
It's like such a long story, but basically this guy, he like worked in the music industry. He was just very like textbook toxic man that works in the music industry who like thinks he can help you. And it was like I tried not to go on this date, but he was very persistent. And men are not persistent these days. So I like finally said yes. And I like literally the whole drive there, I just was prepping myself for it to be so awful. And it was so much more awful than I knew it was going to be. Yeah, it was really confusing because he was like, everything that he said was like so corny and like so textbook. But it was also like he was simultaneously, like, are you trying to date me or are you trying to like groom me to like be your client as an artist? And then we got into like, he was so rude and I called him out about it and then we got in these like full-blown arguments.
At dinner?
Kind of when we like left dinner and then it was at his house.
You went to the house after dinner?
Yeah, because my car was at his apartment.
Okay, all right.
And the whole thing was just like very, and what's unfortunate is like when you go, as a woman, when you go out with people in your industry.
Yeah.
Like I've gone out with people in the industry prior to him and it was a really uncomfortable situation and I like never said anything or I didn't want to make a scene because I'm like, oh, like he's in the industry. With this guy, like I didn't care. It was like I tried to like, I wanted to leave the date without saying anything, but my energy shifted so dramatically
You had to.
that he asked me, he was like, what's happening? Like, are you okay? Like, I feel like you're really hard to read. And I'm like, everyone tells me I'm so hard to read. Like, say something better. And I was like, yeah, truthfully, like when you said X, Y, and Z to me, like that was really rude. And I didn't, and then we got in this whole argument.
Wow.
And then he had, like, it was crazy. Like, it was like, I left the date being like, I was shook. I mean, this isn't like this is.
One of the worst.
One of the worst, yeah.
Okay.
And you would think that this man would never
He
reach
came
out
back
to me, text me 2 days later, let me know when you're ready to take your career to the next level. And I'm like,
Wow.
I'm gonna throw up in my mouth. Then he left the music industry and started working for this like beverage company that's like a sports beverage company, like it doesn't do with music. And my mom owns a gym called Malibu Fitness.
Okay.
And he had the audacity to hit me up and be like, oh, I work for the sports company now. Like, can we send some to your gym and maybe do a pop-up there? And if you like it, we can sell them to you at your gym. I was like, you need to go to a mental institution. And then during the Malibu fires, texted me to see if I was okay. And I'm like, I'm about to block
Hey,
this
he
man.
cares about you. You made a mistake. He cares about you a lot. Shout out to whoever he is. I mean, hey, everybody
Insane.
deserves forgiveness.
No, he's
No?
crazy.
Okay, all right then. Before we go really quick, as far as family member, who are like the most important family members in your life?
My mom.
Your mom.
Yeah.
What's your
super
mom's name?
supportive. Lonnie.
Lonnie. Shout out to Lonnie.
Shout out.
Absolutely. Just mom?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, it has been a pleasure having Sophia Galate on the Late Show with LLedo. I want to say thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's finito. Perfect.